Welcome to Let's Talk Boundaries. In today's episode, we'll explore why the art of journaling is the perfect tool for emotional healing and setting healthy boundaries. You'll learn how putting pen to paper helps you process stress, uncover hidden feelings, and gain the clarity you need to confidently say no and protect your peace. Stay tuned for simple, powerful journaling styles you can start using today. Today, I'm just going to have a conversation with you about something that is so near and dear to my heart, and that is the practice of journaling. If you do not journal, if you have not journaled in a while, or if you are an avid journaler, then you really want to sit in for this one, because I'm going to be sharing so much information, so many nuggets, and so many benefits of journaling, and even some results that you're not going to be able to put that paper down, and you're going to grab a pen and you're going to want to start journaling. So are you ready? Let's get started. I have been journaling since I was 11 years old. I still have my journal from when I was 11 years old and when I was 12 years old. And I go back and I look at those journal entries that I had, and I'm just blown away. Journaling is something that I have used all throughout my life since that time. There was one period of time where I didn't journal, and that was at a time when my mother found my journal. We think we hide it, or we put that little key in there thinking no one's going to read our journals. Well, my mother read my journal, and I'll never forget coming up the stairs, being outside in the summer. Sure enough, by the time I got to the top of the stairs, my mother was holding my journal in her hand, and it was open.
Oh my God!
Needless to say, I did not write in my journal until I left home. I left home when I was about 19 years old, and then when I left home, I don't think I journaled probably for another 2 or 3 years. There was a period of my life that I don't have record of what was going on because I didn't journal. That's what journaling does. It helps you to keep record of your life, because there's so many things that we just don't remember. And when we go back, it helps us to remember whether those memories are good or bad. It's important for us to go back. So what are some of the things that are important for you to understand about journaling? Whether you journaled before, whether you used to journal, whether you never could get into it, or as you're an avid journaler, you really appreciate the practice of journaling. And I call it the art of journaling, because to me, journaling is an art form. And this is a phrase that I have coined ever since I became a journaling practitioner, and that life is like a chalkboard, and you hold the eraser to erase away old patterns and repeated mistakes. But before you erase it, you got to see it on the board. And that is where the art of journaling begins. So before we get started on this, I want you to answer a question for yourself. And I want to ask you 4 questions to identify where you are with the practice of journaling. What's your response? I journal regularly. I would like to journal, but I don't. And I used to journal, but I've gotten away from it. Or I'd like to journal, but I'm not sure where to begin. Any answer that you give will be an indication of where you are and help you to know where you want to go moving forward. Now, if you're listening to this podcast episode, then most chances are you're curious and you want to find out more. Journaling is a practice that I have used over so many years, and it has gotten me to through some really difficult times. There's so many reasons that people journal, and one of the things that I know that I love about journaling is it helps me get to a place of resolve. There's so many benefits to journaling. It gives you a higher degree of peace and confidence. It reduces your level of stress when you do it. It also increases your level of confidence when you journal, and you build much better relationships as a result. And it gives you much more significant degrees of happiness in your life. So many times I'll get to the point where something's going on in my life, and I say to myself, just because I've done it for so long, is, you know what? I got to go journal. And typically that happens when I get to a point where I'm not sure how to handle a situation. And when that happens, I know I have to I have to go get my journal. Now, this is my most recent journal that I'm using. I love it. And so there's so many pages in this journal. And as you can see, I do a lot of writing. And one of the things I want to help you to understand about journaling is the different journaling styles that you can use. And I'm going to tell you more about an event I have coming up in Marietta, Georgia. So if you are in the Atlanta area, anywhere in your Cobb County, or even ready to come into Cobb County on July 19th, then you definitely want to come to this journaling workshop or journaling circle that I'm putting on, because I'm going to be teaching 5 different journaling styles. 2 of them are pretty standard styles that most people use. They're called cathartic and they're called reflective. And those 2 are the basic ones that people use, but there's 3 far more advanced styles of journaling that has different forms within them that I'm going to be sharing within this 2-hour workshop that I'm doing on July 19th. It's a Saturday and it's free. So I do hope that you will check your calendar and see if this is an event that you want to come to, because it's going to be very interactive and we're going to learn so much. You're going to have so much fun. There's going to be like food, refreshments, an opportunity for meet some beautiful, wonderful people that are going to be in attendance. So I definitely hope that you make that. And I'm also going to be giving away some prizes at that event. And why am I doing it for free? I'm doing it for free because I absolutely love journaling and I love what you can get out of journaling. So let me talk to you a little bit about, the different things that you can do when it comes to journaling. But here's another reason why it's so important to journal. You have ever heard of the Johari window? Johari window is a model that's been developed as far as our behaviors. It's not a dysfunctional one like I talk about in my book, The Drama Triangle, but this is a healthy one, a functional diagram. Johari window is a model of behavior that helps us to understand where we fit in our behaviors within a quadrant of 4. And in that quadrant, we have 4 different areas. We have the areas that are known to others, the areas that are known to ourselves, the areas that are unknown to others, and there are areas about ourselves that are unknown to ourselves. And the reason this is so important is because there are those areas that we don't know about ourselves. Those are the unknown. Those are the things that journaling helps us to uncover. So anyone that journals, and hopefully that's you, can tell you the benefits of journaling and why it's so important for you to journal. First of all, you increase your level of self-awareness. Secondly, it is a great source for personal growth because of the work that you're doing in writing in that journal. And using the different journaling styles helps you to really grow and increase your own level of self-awareness, like I talked about within that Johari window in the unknown area of your life. Another thing about journaling is a great source of accountability. Let me give you an example of that. A planner. If you have a yearly planner, that is a way of you holding yourself accountable to things. Another example of that is a life balance wheel. You do journaling when it comes to a life balance wheel to hold yourself accountable to the things that you want to do, the goals that you set for yourself, and also to make sure that you are keeping track of the time that you spend doing that. Also, why it's so important for you to journal is because you get a chance to set better boundaries. You step back long enough to analyze the situation where you believe that a boundary is needed. And because of the different journaling styles that you use, you are in a position to set better boundaries, the boundaries that get respected more than any other boundaries. And then it is an excellent form of self-care. If you ever get to the point where you really need to take some time for yourself, then journaling is a great exercise for you to do to help you to really increase your level of self-care. And then lastly, this is something that a lot of people don't realize, but it helps to eliminate trauma dumping. What is trauma dumping? Well, that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about in this workshop that I did, but it basically helps you to make sure that you're not continuing to dump your trauma and your drama on somebody else and your chaos, and where they get tired of it and they don't want to listen to you anymore. And before you know it, people start ghosting you and you don't know why they're not calling you back. It's all because of trauma dumping. When you have journaling as a practice, as a tool for yourself to work through your issues that you're going through, trauma dumping will definitely not be a problem for you. So you see, there are so many reasons why it's so important for you to journal, but everything that you go through, every experience that you have warrants being able to put it in the journal. Now, again, journaling is not about putting just bad experiences in there when you're feeling a certain kind of emotion that doesn't feel well, but you can't figure out how to work through it. Journaling is also good when you have good moments and things that you want to remember, the good experiences that you have, because one day you're going to go back and you're going to look at that, and that one experience that you documented will be just what you need as a reminder that, you know what, you can get through things, you can do it, and you're not doing things by happenstance. And it also helps to identify the patterns of things that you're going through. And in my workshop, I'm going to talk to you about some of my patterns that I identified when things were just not going well. And I totally forgot that these things had happened to me in my past. And as I went back and looked back over my journals, I realized, wow, this was just a pattern of something that I was doing. And that style of journaling that I used was called reflective. It caused me to go back and look at my previous entries to be able to identify that pattern. So you see, when you identify a pattern, this is how you begin to structure yourself to set healthy boundaries. When you can set healthy boundaries through the patterns that you've identified, it makes it much easier. You have more courage to do it when you do that. See, here's what happens. Usually we do it the other way around, or we don't identify a pattern at all. All we know is that somehow people keep doing this to us and we don't know why. And so we have a tendency to react and begin to set a boundary. And those are the boundaries that aren't healthy because they're reactionary. But when you know how to use different styles of journaling and you start to document it, then you can begin to identify or just kind of put together your head and your heart. So you've got these emotions, right? You've got these emotions that are coming up to the surface, and you want to be able to say something to someone. You want to react, but is it the right way to do it? Typically, when you journal, you're able to allow your head and your heart to work together. So what that means is your emotions and your thought process can work together to analyze the situation so that by the time you're done journaling, you have come to a place of resolve and you know exactly what your next step is. I can't tell you how many times I've said, you know what, I need to journal. I get down and I use a particular journaling style called dialogical. And when I do that, by the time I'm done writing, by the time I'm finished with the journal entries, I feel so much better. And I get up and I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what I need to say. And when I need to set a boundary, I know exactly how to do it because of the work in the journaling process. You can save yourself a lot of money when it comes to therapy. I truly believe in therapy wholeheartedly. I've gone to therapy many times. But here's the thing about journaling. When you are partnering with a therapist and you want to make sure you get to a certain point, you want to make sure you help your therapist by making sure that you journal. Now, there are some therapists that will require for you to journal, like I do with my clients, because it helps me to help them to get better in the areas where they want to get better. So helping your therapist by journaling out the situations that you're dealing with will help that therapist not have to really pull so deeply in order to get some information from you, because you've already written it out and you already know what it is that you're dealing with and what it is that you want the outcome to be as a result. It's amazing when you journal. So let's go over the different journaling styles, those styles that I'm going to be working through with you throughout this workshop. And as you look at this guide, you're going to see that not only are there journaling styles, but there's also forms of journaling within each style. With this journaling style guide, you will see 5 different journaling styles: the cathartic, the reflective, the dialogical, the free intuitive, and the breakthrough. See that the first 2 are pretty standard or basic journaling styles that most people use, but the 3 at the bottom are the more advanced styles. And this journaling style guide is one that you will receive as part of your attendance at this journaling workshop in July. But let me break it down for you. The cathartic journaling, you can see there are different formats for each style of journaling, and there's also a different purpose for each one. And the results you get will be different based on the style that you use. So let me give you an example. The cathartic, the formats are victory journal, when you really want to look and capture the really good things that have happened in your life. There's the giving thanks journal, and that's a journal where you give thanks and you identify the things that you're thankful for. There's also unsent letters. Now this one is key because you're getting out your emotions down on paper. And let's say you write a letter to someone and you don't want to send that letter, and most chances are the first time you write it, you shouldn't send it. And then you've got the grief format or form of journaling. When you experience a loss, you want to make sure that you're capturing your grief, capturing what you're going through at that given time. Because at some point in the future, you're going to probably experience another grief. And as you go through that, you want to be able to go back and look at the experiences that you had in the last time that you went through the grief process. It can be so healing for you. It can give you so much peace to know that you've been through this and help you to know how to go through it the next time that you're going through it. So what's the purpose? The purpose of this cathartic style of journaling is a form of expression. Also, it helps to clear your mind and it helps you to write through your pain. Most of the times when you journal, for those of you that journal, then you know that usually when you journal, it's because you're angry about something, you're sad about something, you're frustrated, and you're depressed, you're confused, all those things, and that's when you start to journal. And then the result that you get when you use this style of journaling is you get healing. You get a form of release and you get some new ideas. How many of you got new ideas in doing just this one style of journaling? And that's this cathartic journaling where you're just spewing it out, getting it out from your head or your heart down on paper. And before you know it, when you're done, you're like, a sigh of relief because you've gotten it all out of your system and it's out on paper, and now you're free to move forward. And as you can see in this journaling style guide, there's many forms, there's many purposes for each one, and there's also the results that you can expect to get from it. And when I go through my workshop, I'm going to be showing you examples, and you're going to get an opportunity to work through different situations from your life, be it from your past or from your present, that are going to help you to get to a place of resolve, a place of clarity, a place of achievement, a place of peace. And you're going to get some new ideas. Now, one of the things that most people don't know is that as I've published 2 books, and I'm working on my 3rd one now, most of the information that I have in my books, they come from my journaling practice. I could show you a bin of all my journals. And if I told you that I still have my journal from when I was 11 and 12 years old, then you can imagine how many journals that I have. And there is so much content in those journals. So if you're a content creator, you don't have to look far to get your content to write about. Just go back and look at your journals. And then you will understand that there's so much information that is your story that needs to be shared with other people, all because you took the time to write it down in a journal, to just spew it out, get it out. And different forms are going to help you to expound upon those experiences, those memories that you have, the reflection that you have in those different experiences. And before you know it, you're going to come up with so much content, it's not even going to be funny. So why do you journal? If you journal, why do you journal? I would love to hear in the comment section, what are some of the things that you use journaling for? Is it for the self-reflection? Is it to just work through some challenges? Is it just to get it out on paper? Is it to plan? Is it to hold yourself accountable to anything? What is it? What is it that you use it for? Because I use it for every single one of those things. And when you get into the habit of journaling, using the art of journaling, before you know it, it'll become a habit for you, and you'll know exactly when you need to journal, and you'll know what it is you need to journal. Let me tell you, journaling has saved my life in so many ways. It has not only helped me to get to a place of resolve, it has helped me to heal my inner child. It has helped me to create a healthy relationship with the little girl inside of me. At this point, my little girl and me as an adult have become one because of the work that we have done through the art of journaling. Yeah, we use different journaling styles to come together and be able to identify the areas in our lives where we need healing. Because if you've gone through any type of trauma in your childhood, and if you were not nurtured throughout that, then most chances are you're carrying some of that, what I call excess baggage with you. And a lot of times we think, no, I'm good. I've healed from that. You really won't know how much you've healed or if you've healed until you start to journal and increase your level of self-awareness of what you're doing. Remember I talked about that Johari window? And I talked about the unknown. I talk about that which you don't know and nobody else knows. But you know what? There's a part of that Johari window that states there's things about you that you don't know, but other people do. I can tell a mile away when there's someone who has unhealed childhood traumas. How do I know? Because it comes out in their behavior. And it comes out because I've identified the patterns of my own dysfunctional behavior, of my own residual effects that come to the surface as an adult. That's why I knew I had to do some bonding with that little girl inside of me. I had to make sure that what I was doing was not something that she was causing to come to the surface because she had not healed from it. And then that starts to infect and affect every relationship that I have. So, you may be in relationships and you may be wondering, why does this keep happening to me, right? All you gotta do is go and journal. As you start to journal and you start to identify patterns, and all of a sudden your level of self-awareness increases, and then you can go use another style of journaling that can help you to get to the core of that. And it's not until you get to the core and increase that level of self-awareness about yourself that's going to help you to say, okay, I see what's happening. Now I need to do something about it. And that's why I help you to understand the other 3 advanced styles of journaling, because those first 2, oh yeah, they bring you to a certain place of resolve, but they do not clear up things so they don't repeat themselves in the future. That's where your boundaries come in, and that's where your healing comes in. So I just want to share that information with you because journaling is something that is near and dear to my heart. As a journaling practitioner, what that means is that I have done the work of researching different journaling styles, especially those 3 advanced that I'm going to be sharing with you, and helping you to understand how to use those styles, the forms within those styles that are going to help you get to the place of setting healthier boundaries, of healing, emotional healing, and really getting in touch and understanding the difference between the inner adult and the inner child, and forgiveness and self-discovery, self-awareness, and you get a chance to identify the self-sabotaging beliefs that you have held on for far too long. So I do hope you will do whatever you can to be a part of this workshop on July 19th. And this workshop is called Rites of Passage. In Rites of Passage, we have 2 hours of a workshop that is going to be a circle because of the camaraderie, because of the networking, and because of the collaboration that we do to work through our challenges together. Again, that's July 19th, and it's going to be in Marietta. So click the link to find out how you can register for this event. And last thing I want to share with you, so let's say you are an avid journaler or you haven't started journaling and you've got some challenges that you really want to work out, and you're like, I can't wait until your workshop on July 19th in Marietta. So what do I do? Well, lucky for you, I have another summer offer that I'm doing. It's a special, and that special is called $1 a minute coaching. And it is only for the month of July this summer. It ends August 1st, and it is an opportunity for you to pay $1 a minute for coaching. They're going to be in 15-minute increments. So let's say you got a challenge and you're not sure how to work it out. You can pay $15 for a 15-minute session with me. I call them clarity sessions, for you to get clear on the challenge that you're working through, and you need some support, you need some help, you need a bird's eye view to help you to really look at the situation from a different perspective so that you can get unstuck in that situation. So that's just an example of 15 minutes, $15. You go 60 minutes, that's $60. You're not going to find that from any coach anywhere other than right here. I've been doing coaching, life coaching, boundaries coaching for the past 18 years. And when there's a need for a boundary, I'm definitely your girl to come to find out how to do that. I've done it. I've done it so many times. I've helped so many people do it. And I want to help you. So go ahead and click the link if this is something you're interested in, so you can schedule a time with me on my calendar. Or if you want to register for this event in Marietta, go ahead and click the separate link for that you'll see there. And make sure you subscribe to this podcast, because I would hate for you to miss something that we share on this podcast, be it through me or any of my guests. That's information that you needed to hear. And I know you know someone that could probably use some support with coaching, having someone walk alongside them. And that's what the $1 a minute coaching session is for, the clarity session. So make sure you share with them. All right. This is Pamela Byrd, your boundaries coach. And let's talk boundaries and let's talk journaling. Take care and God bless.